We are going to go into our interview that we have scheduled this week. We've invited Jay Lund. He is the head of GreenSlate Development, which has been responsible for so many projects in the Blackstone and Midtown areas. And today we're going to start off talking to Jay about a very exciting project that just was completed. It's the renovation of the 100-plus-year-old steel factory west of University of Nebraska Medical Center, now called Catalyst. Jay, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, I think you've been on, 5 or 6 times. Your dad, John Lund, has never been on the show.
Yeah, I lost track. I'm not sure how many times I've been. I thought he'd been on before.
Jason Fisher's been on there. Pretty much we're trying to have everybody but our friend John Lund, who's listening.
Thanks, Trenton. And so let's get into our conversation about the Catalyst. Jay, this is part of what the University of Nebraska Medical Center and you guys are calling the Edge District. We'll talk about that in a moment. But kind of give us the 30,000-foot view of the Catalyst.
Yeah, it's a project that I've been working on in one way or another, I think about, almost 10 years, just kind of looking at that overall site. I'm sure you guys have kind of been tracking it.
Not an easy site.
No. I mean, I remember when I first got into the business over 20 years ago, actually touring the building when they were still casting, steel molds in there. And I think it was Jim Maynor had, his whole analysis of the valuation and this and that. So it's been trying to be assembled for a long time. Back in 2016, we were a part of a master planning exercise. About 4 years ago, there was an RFP that went out to say, hey, what could this be? And it was an old building that actually different folks along the way had wanted to tear down multiple times. And I had encouraged them to see what it could be if it was saved. Long story short, we ended up partnering with some folks out of Denver, Coble and Company. They had built a building in the Rhino neighborhood called Catalyst. This was about 8 years ago. And it's an office building at the end of the day, but it's really much more than that. It's a community. Theirs was specifically based around, their anchor was UC Health. And then they created this community around all these innovators and folks that wanted to be under the same roof with one another.
So the crane is still in there, one of the cranes, and what is it, 100 and something years old?
The building itself was built over so many different decades that the crane, I think we date the crane back, that particular crane that we kept, it's a 20-ton gantry train that we left in place, we think is like from the 40s or 50s.
And what's the square footage of this?
It's 170,000 square feet.
And so it's called the Catalyst, and there are several UNMC-related functions in there, a coffee shop, Big Grove Brewery coming very soon, right?
Yeah, so first of all, you have to see it to believe it, right? So there's a lot of cool office buildings in Omaha, but this is just very unique. And the fact that it was a 100-year-old steel plant and a lot of that old architecture was reclaimed but surrounded by new architecture. So the coffee shop's open. That's public, so you can come you don't have to have an appointment or be invited to come see the building. You can go get a coffee. I think they're open Monday through Friday right now. The brewery itself is scheduled to open, I believe, the first week of August, and that'll also be public. They're the same group that's running the coffee shop. So Big Grove's out of Des Moines. Big restaurant. Chris, you'll have to get in there at some point. 11,000 square foot restaurant, a 6,500 square foot patio. If you haven't seen their beers in the grocery store, if you haven't seen pictures of their other breweries in Des Moines and Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, you have to check it out.
So the Catalyst is not just medical; it's an office building with heavy medical related adjacent type of businesses. Give us an idea of the mix.
Yeah, so that's actually a little bit of a misnomer. There is no medical functions in the building. It's just UNMC. So there's it's general office. The med center occupies about 30% of the building, and then we have the rest. Something that's incredibly unique about the building is that close to 50% of the space in the building is common area. So folks in the real estate business would kind of refer to that as like a load factor on what you would pay rent on. We don't charge a 50% load factor, but the tenants get the benefit of that. So we share the building with the Med Center. And then just real quickly, the concept is everything from a $350 a month desk to $1,000 a month private office, and then up from there. So all the way up to up to 10,000 square foot office spaces, and that's really the kind of the unique factor is you can come in and rent a desk for $350 or $1,000 a month, and you really have the benefit of this world-class facility with all these common areas. And really, the biggest point is that you're running into people when you are filling your coffee or you're getting
collaborative
free kombucha on tap, and we call it serendipitous collisions.
There you go.
I like that term. So the $350 a month desk is co-working space, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, there's multiple co-working areas that are mixed into the building.
And the UNMC functions that are in there, correct me if I'm wrong, these are the groups that take UNMC research and technology and privatize it?
That's a UNIMED, and they just moved in a few weeks ago. The other spaces that the Med Center have in the building are sort of their final users are to be determined.
So it's part of the Edge District. That's the name now for the UNMC campus west of Saddle Creek Road. The core building is under construction. They're looking great. But Jay, there's a lot more planned for that district. I don't know what else in that district you would be involved in versus the Med Center, but what else do you see happening around the Catalyst maybe in the next couple of years?
Yeah, so it's about 25, 30 acres if you look at from Dodge to Leavenworth. It's sort of a triangular
Is this
shape.
all west of Saddle Creek, or is this
Correct?
Okay.
Yes, all west of Saddle Creek, and then 48th Street on the west is sort of the western border of the Edge, literally. We're also just about to bring online a new parking garage that is a City of Omaha parking garage that is directly across from the Catalyst. So 750 stall garage set to open almost at the exact same time as Big Grove Brewery. So that'll be nice. I think that's going to be when Big Grove Brewery opens and the garage opens. Those are all public things that for the first time, I think the public is going to be interacting with that part of campus that they never have before. So that garage will, I think, ultimately get wrapped similar to the Mercantile. I think you could see hotels. I think you could see a lot of things.
Well, we are talking with Jay Lund today. He is head of GreenSlate Development. We talked about their project, The Catalyst, on UNMC's Edge District campus. But we want to go a little bit further east, Jay. Earlier this spring, we announced a project that you guys are undertaking to redevelop the former WOWT television space into a 5-story building. Well, now that old TV station is being demolished.
Yeah, right now. So if you drive
cool
by,
is that?
the building's about half down. So kind of fun to see that. Little fun fact there was a historic mural, mosaic tile from WW, same as the one down at the Peregrine Hotel.
Oh, wow.
And we were able to save a little bit of it physically, but we did get a full high-resolution scan of that mural, and we're going to reproduce that inside of the new complex. So we're excited about that.
Now, you're running this project by yourself, right?
Yeah, just me. Yep. Nobody else is helping.
Well, you're a pretty self-reliant guy. So when the TV studio is down and gone, because WWT moved just to the west to part of the Blackstone Plaza building, what are you going to build there? What's it going to look like? What's it going to be called? And what will happen inside it?
Yeah, we did a press release. When was that? You were there, Jeff. It's a 5-story building. It's 185 apartments. It's a podium-style building. So it's which means it's garage, and then you have 4 stories of apartments above. It's going to have a swimming pool, highly amenitized, Class A.
Is the pool on top?
The pool is in the back.
Okay.
So
sort of
closer to
it's sort
Harney
of-
Street.
It's a U-shaped building, and the pool would be on the south side.
It's amazing how you guys can build this stuff on smaller lots, but this one, is this a couple acres or is
This
it
is
smaller?
more land than really I think we've ever had to build, except for Catalyst, which already had a building on it. It's an acre and a half of land. It goes all the way from Farnham to Harney, and for Blackstone or for anything we've ever done in that area, that's about almost double what we've ever had.
You're not used to the luxury of space in Blackstone
Yeah, it
District.
almost feels like a suburban project to us.
Now, when you say podium with above ground parking, but it's below it's open on the sides, but do you go down for a basin parking as well?
Well, the way that the grade kind of works there is Farnham is lower than Harney. So it kind of provides sort of like a natural place for the garage to live, sort of half underground.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So, Jay, this building, this 5-story building just east of the Blackstone Plaza Tower, will be on the streetcar line, and you've played a big role in getting this streetcar off the ground. And maybe talk to us a little bit about how that streetcar had an impact on you guys deciding to build this building and what you see happening in that area once it's open.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to believe when I started Modern Streetcar Advocates. That was all the way back in 2017. So I can't believe it's
I
been.
thought it was longer, actually.
It's
Feels
felt,
like it.
it's felt longer. So it's been a long journey, talking about the benefits of the project, and it still elicits a lot of emotional responses when you bring it up, really, in any room. But the project is happening, and the construction. If you haven't been down there, it's very apparent that it's going on, and everybody knows that I'm a big advocate, and I see the benefit. It really comes down to density.
And give us I know it could go for an hour, but give us a 2 or 3 minute explanation of why that's so important. And it's not just for ridership. Give us why you're such a proponent of the streetcar.
Well, it's hard to synthesize, really, but I think if you wanted me to boil it down, it comes down to density, and it's the permanency of the rail. That some people will say, people have said in the past, well, that's what makes it bad. And I would argue, as a real estate developer, that's exactly what makes it great, because those rails can't move.
And when he says density, ladies and gentlemen, he's talking about more people there, both at night and during the day, and going vertical, which doesn't tax the infrastructure like roads, fire, schools. So it just keeps more people in that area.
Yeah, and it's land use. And so I think when anyone travels to great cities, it seems like they always come back and they say, I walked everywhere. I loved it. You could walk everywhere, right?
Boston,
Yeah, you go to New York, you go to Chicago, you say, gosh, it was so fun. All we did is we walked everywhere. So that's what people want. And really, it comes down to land use. So if you were to walk the streetcar route today and literally physically walk the route from 40th Street all the way downtown, and when you're on foot, you're going to notice, at least from a real estate developer point of view, but I think really anyone could say, gosh, there's a lot of wasted land on this corridor, and it's really these old parking lots that were, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, all these buildings just got torn down and turned into parking lots, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to turn parking lots that are used a fraction of the time back into buildings that are vibrant, paying taxes, and create the community, walkable community that everybody wants.
Yeah, and it already off to a great start. It'll only get better. And you're so right. When people travel, they love those walkable districts. No one goes to a big city on vacation and comes home and said, I saw the best super Target in a Cleveland suburb I've ever seen in my life. They care about the urban areas. And with that, Jay, when you look at the Blackstone district, which has been your baby, what's next for it in terms of building? I mean, what types of projects might we see in the Blackstone in the coming years?
And what's it missing?
Well, I think that the building that we just brought on, another large project that came on at the same time as Catalyst, really, which is funny how long these things take, is 37 West Farnham. And so that's another public-private partnership that has a parking garage that works in conjunction with the streetcar.
And Flagship has a new...
And Flagship, if you haven't seen it, they just opened the other day. It's a very cool space called Revival House. It's a tiki bar. Super fun. Has garage doors on the front, so it feels very open and big city. Blackstone proper, if you kind of think about it, is really about 35th to 41st, and it's mostly built. There's a couple little lots here and there, but the big opportunity and kind of quote Blackstone or Midtown is the Mutual of Omaha campus. And I think when they move into their new tower, that's going to open up a lot of acreage of again, you're looking at empty parking lots and what could this land be, and I think we all know there's a higher and better use.
Well, Jay Lund, we appreciate you joining us today and giving us an update on the Catalyst and Midtown issues in general, and kudos to you and your colleagues for all the good work you're doing in Midtown.
Thanks a lot for having me. Love what you guys do. Love your weekly email. I get excited to read it every.
You hear
every
that,
time it comes.
ladies and gentlemen? Jay Lund approved.
All right. Well,
Go to growomaha.com and sign up for the newsletter. It's free.
All right, Jay. Thank you so much. That's Jay Lund, GreenSlate Development. If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.